Happy New Year's, and thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop. On today's review, we take a look at the Mezco Nightmare on Elm Street Freddy Kreuger. Today I'll be reviewing this figure in 6 categories: accessories, articulation, design, is it essential to your collection, functionality, and price. Once those scores are totaled, I'll give you my opinion if this figure is a pass or a purchase. So this is my very first action figure review of the new year. This is a figure that I received, I want to say middle of December. So for accessories, at first glance, it doesn't look like Freddy Kreuger comes with that much, but he comes with quite a few neat accessories. So let's start out with the trash can lid. It is cool for what it is. So this is my favorite of the finger accessories. The fingers are bent in shape, just in case you're wondering. They are not articulated. See if I can just zoom in a little bit. My next favorite hand will be this one, with the ooze splashing out of the cut off finger. And then you have 2 additional pairs of hands, which I will not go through each of them. But the hands are done very well. Moving on, Freddy comes with a fedora. And I really like the scope of this, the line work. And count them, Freddy comes with 4 head sculpts. And each one looks phenomenal. I really like how the burnt flesh tone looks. The sculpting work, the paint work, it all really looks good. Sort of get the expression with the grimace. Smirking. And then you get this cool head sculpt here, which shows more of the skeleton. I really like this one. And in addition, you receive a face, which mounts onto that. And I'll show that a little bit later. And last but not least, you get a cool stand and display base. So for accessories, you get a total of 3 pair hands and 4 head sculpts. And if you count the removable faceplate, you're looking at 5 different facial expressions, not including the fedora, which you can add to each of the head sculpts. So for accessories, I'm giving Freddy a 10 out of 10. So for articulation, the head is not really able to look up far at all. And it's because, well, I don't need to remove this. As you can see, the head is elongated. Sadly, the neck is not a separate piece. So it only allows for Freddy to look up about that much, which is very disappointing. Down about that much. I'm pretty sure you're going to get excellent pivot as well as tilt. And yes, you do. And really no back and forth. So the arm is able to go up about that much. Then that's fantastic. That is some of the best arm movement that I've seen. I am sure that this can rotate a full 360, but since the cloth is here, I'm just not going to do so. You do get rotation. There is an upper bicep cut here. You also have rotation down at the wrist. The arm is able to bend about that much, which is fantastic. And the wrist hinge up and down, as well. If you get the peg to match the line, it can go side to side as well. There's no butterfly joint up top. So now with the torso, there's an upper and lower piece. So simply using the upper, you're able to get minimal movement back, a little bit more forward. You get some good pivot side to side and a good amount of rotation. So using the combination of the upper and lower torso, you get about this much movement, which is great. Good side to side, a great amount back, as well as forward. And you do get, well, yes, there is some waist rotation. So the legs are able to split a full 360. I'm not sure if I can do so with the cloth. So with the cloth, you get about that much, which I'm very satisfied. The legs are able to kick way up. They're able to go about that much back. You do have an upper thigh cut, no lower thigh cut. The next rotation comes all the way at the shoe. Double jointed knees. He's able to kick his own self in the tail. The boots are able to barely move up any. Bit disappointed at that. Barely able to move down any. And not so great pivot either outside or inside. Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed at the lack of pivot movement. Let's see if I can just pull the pants up to see if that will make a difference. Okay, so here you can see the upper portion of the boot, which rotates. However, being that it's a separate piece, it doesn't allow for the bottom part to move up, nor really come down, nor turn on the inside. So that's pretty disappointing. So moving forward with articulation, I just want to tell you how I'll be scoring figures for the new year. Usually, or rather, figures that come with the solid neck attached to the head, such as this, in most cases, I will be deducting point because this limits articulation. Figures that do not have shoulder joints, butterfly joints, I will be deducting points in most cases. Figures that have one working torso piece, I'll be deducting points in most cases. And figures that have very limited articulation around the boot area, I will also be deducting points. So for articulation, I decided to give Freddy a 6 out of 10. I actually deducted 2 points for the poor ankle articulation as they barely move upwards, downwards, or to either side. So as far as being essential to your collection, I'll be scoring that a little bit differently moving forward. So simply to give you an example, you think about a franchise such as the X-Men. The X-Men essentially are a group. So you take characters such as Cyclops, Jean Grey, Wolverine, as well as others. Those characters are essential to that group. You take a franchise such as Friday the 13th. There is simply one character to that franchise, which is Jason. He's not part of a group. He's not part of a team. So other than the context of that one character for that one specific franchise, it really doesn't fit anywhere else into your collection. So while Jason is essential to Friday the 13th, how does that fit into your overall collection? And I'll say that it's not essential to your collection because it doesn't fit into any other universe into your collection. It's sort of a one-off figure. So one-off figures cannot hold the same value as figures which build into a larger universe or a larger team. So as far as being essential to your collection, originally I was going to give Freddy a very low score. I decided to give him a safe score of 5, only because I'm open to the argument for those collectors who are saying, hey, I'm building my 80s horror action figures. So for design, Mezco really did a phenomenal job. From the sculpting of the fedora to the color of the flesh tone, which is really important in order to show what appears to be his burn marks. The sweater also looks good. At first I felt that maybe it was a bit too baggy, but just taking a look at the movie, the shirt was a bit loose, so I feel that this is quite accurate. My one gripe would be that the stripes are painted on instead of actually being part of the fabric. However, it looks very good. As you can see, some of the red actually showing through, which makes this look as if it's fading. The pants fit very well. And Mezco over the years has gotten much better at stitch work. So even though there's stitch work on both sides of the legs, it is very clean. And moving into one of the important parts with Freddy, I think that the claws are done very well. I think that they could have been more of a bronze color versus the gold that appears here, and I'm hoping that that is actually showing on camera. So for design, I am very satisfied, and I'm going to give Freddy a 9 out of 10. So for functionality, the fedora fits on each head. I've already tried it. To remove the head is simple enough. Simply hold the body and just pull upwards. And simply to replace the head, just place it on the peg and push down. You'll hear that popping sound. So now looking at this face sculpt, which I really like, Freddy comes with a removable faceplate. Simply line it up like so. And the faceplate goes in place just like that, which is pretty cool. On the downside, it is very easy to see where the seam is all the way around. I didn't go back to watch the movie, so I am not sure if it actually looked that way. But I'm really not a fan of seeing the seam work. You place the hat on. I'm not going to say it hides it. Yeah, it doesn't hide it at all. To remove the hands are simple enough. And to place the hands on are also simple enough. I normally gripe about companies that do not have the pegs attached to the hand. However, usually with Mezco, the hands do go on a bit easy, even though now I'm having some difficulty. Okay, so it actually took me some time to put this hand on, as each time as I was trying to place it on the peg continued to move, but eventually I got it. So one of the things that I like about Freddy is that his garments allow for free movement. Even though he's wearing a sweater, you can fully rotate. Well, I'm going to call that fully rotating the arm. I'm going to choose not to go all the way around. You're able to do nearly a full split, even though he's in cloth goods, which is fantastic. So some of the limitations on this figure, the boots could have been done a lot better. They really do not allow for much movement at all. There's almost no pivot whatsoever. And Freddy has the same issue that my Mezco Blade figure had, which is one leg is longer than the other, which means it's almost impossible for Freddy to stand with his legs very close, easier for him to stand much wider. Of course, that this is on camera, he's standing perfectly fine. Now he's having some challenges. So the legs are a bit off. I am not sure if it shows on camera, but one foot is definitely longer than the other, which makes standing a bit difficult. And just to continue with the lack of movement on the ankles, it makes it very hard to get Freddy into certain poses as you're unable to bend the ankles inwards. So for functionality, I'm going to give Freddy an 8 out of 10. So for pricing, Freddy comes in at about $80 before shipping and taxes. I got mine for about $85, let's say $86, as I used the combined shipping option. So is he worth the price of admission? So let's see what Freddy comes with. You get 4 head sculpts. If it's one thing that's going to cause me to give the accessories portion a high score, it's head sculpts. And the fact that we get 4 with one that has a removable face, also a removable fedora, is phenomenal. Also, we get 6 hands, which by no means is any slouch. We receive a garbage lid. It's an okay accessory. Really not sure what I'm going to do with it. As well as you receive a base and stand. There are some limitations with the articulation. Some are easier to get over. The design, however, is also phenomenal. I really feel that what Mezco has set forth really portrays Freddy Kreuger very well in action figure form. So for pricing, I'm going to give Freddy a 10 out of 10, which gives Freddy a cliff score of 48 out of 60. So now, is this figure a pass or a purchase? I am strongly considering, I'm beyond considering, I am actually searching to see if I can find a spare body. If I can find a Freddy spare body for maybe 40 bucks, I plan to buy another, and I'll just throw one of my 4 head sculpts onto Freddy. In my opinion, it's worth it. So for me, it is absolutely a purchase. So I want to thank those of you who stayed around, as I did this video without any edit, so I'm pretty sure there are some mistakes throughout. Thank you for bearing with them. Here's Freddy standing by himself. Here's Freddy standing next to the Mezco Green Lantern, which I will be reviewing immediately after this video. And here's Freddy next to the Marvel Legends Elektra. So thank you again for tuning in to Mr. Clip's Toy Shop, and I hope to see you during the next review.